everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Juan Londoño, for those of you that don't know me yet, or still, I don't know what the right word is. Welcome to the channel. Today's topic is actually a very common topic among photographers. Can I shoot for money and still enjoy photography? Can I still enjoy what I do? Let's move into the topic. So when somebody comes up to me and says, hey Juan, I'm not really enjoying photography these days. I'm not enjoying what I'm shooting. The first question is obviously, what are you shooting? If my job was to photograph little turd balls floating down the river, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty crappy job. Pun intended. My point here is, if you want to enjoy shooting for money, then you should photograph something that you enjoy. It's actually a pretty simple concept, right? Yet we overlook that sometimes. We sit there and we get frustrated because we're not happy with what we're doing and we just don't know kind of how to get around it. It's very simple. If you're not happy shooting a particular genre or topic, then it's probably time to shift. And what that means is, if you're shooting, for example, weddings, and you're burned out from shooting weddings, you've been doing it for a couple of years and you're not finding, that you're as creative as you used to be with weddings or whatever the case may be, then it's probably time to see if, there's another type of photography that you enjoy. Maybe you really enjoy working with kids. You just never thought about shooting children. Maybe it's time to move into that. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you get the point. So just figure out if that's the problem, and if it is, then, switch. Now I will tell you, even if we're shooting something we really enjoy, but we're doing it for too long, sometimes that becomes tedious. I know people that have told me that. They got into something because it was a passion of theirs, and over, a few years, they lost that passion, If you eat a big piece of steak every day and steak is what you love, there are little small clips about that from HBO and little jokes about that. You go to what you think is heaven and you're given something that you enjoy a lot, and you're given it, 8 times a day. After a while, you can't stand it anymore. And you say, what the heck is this? I thought this was heaven. And then the dude, that was dressed in white, his eyes glows and says, who said this was heaven, right? There's a cool HBO skit on that. But my point is, anything that we do for too long can become tedious and even annoying. In that case, then it's definitely time to switch. And by switch, I don't mean switch careers. I mean just switch what you're shooting, find something different. Now, one way to do this is, for example, I can shoot weddings for 1 year, and then I could switch up and do pets for another year, and then I could switch up and do children for another year, and I can just keep it rolling, right? And then circle back to weddings. That sounds good on paper, but it's not always practical. If you can make that happen, then that's one of the easiest solutions, really, right? But the reason why it's not practical for everybody is because once we set up a clientele, and there are people that are looking for a specific, need. For example, you set up a photography, business, right? And you're actually pretty decent. And after a year or two, you've got clientele referring other people, and people are just coming to you at that point, right? You're shooting 30, 40 weddings a year, and there are only 52 weekends in a year. So that means you're pretty booked. That means you've got like 15 weekends that, not even, right? Like 12 weekends that you're not shooting weddings, and you need a break. So it's difficult to just say, oh, I'm not doing weddings anymore. I'm going to shoot children from this day going forward, because you're going to get a lot of calls, and these people are going to be upset. Oh, you shot my sister's wedding. I don't know if you remember me, and the pictures came out beautiful. I'm getting married next year. Can you do my wedding? Oh, no, I'm shooting pets now. Can you just squeeze one more in? It's just one wedding, right? That's the kind of problem you're going to have, and you're going to let people down. And these are people that are not going to come back to you even when they need their pet pictures taken, because you turned them down for their wedding. It's simply human nature. It's the way the brain works, right? If they're upset at you for one thing, they'll be upset at you for everything, right? Even though it has nothing to do with pet photography. Most people are just not going to turn to you for that. So switching periodically like that can be complicated. One other thing you might do then, that we can do as photographers is, let's find 4 areas that we like. There's of course going to be one that we like more than the others, but okay, I want to do weddings, I want to do pets, that's important. I mean, it's popular. Children is popular, and maybe portraits, because that includes a lot of stuff. Family portraits, high school graduations, college graduations. So, hey, that's 4 things I can do, and then I can mix it up a little bit, right? I can move from thing to thing. One weekend they may book me for a wedding. Next weekend I may be booked on a Friday evening for a portrait of a couple, and then Saturday I may be booked for some children photography or children. So are you going to add children's sports to that? Because that's another, yes, it's kids, but when you get into sports, it's different lenses, it's a different, sometimes even a different camera depending on what you got. So just think of 3, 4, 5 different genres, and add that to your list of things you do, and then people can contact you for that, and that'll keep it switched up for you. One other solution that I kind of like is, if you don't want to shoot so many different things because you need different types of backdrops and props and locations maybe, and it can get complicated, right? Especially if you live in a small place and you don't have your own studio. I would say, okay, so pick one. It's going to be weddings it is, right? You're going to specialize in weddings, you're going to get the gear for weddings, the software for weddings, the software for, creating albums, you got all that, right? Check, you check the box. And you don't want to get burned out. So what you do, obviously there's the, okay, this weekend I'm not shooting weddings, let me go to the park and shoot flowers and shoot nature, and that's good and relaxing, and it keeps the mind creative, right? In creative mode. But I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about, I really love weddings. I love couples. I love the beauty of a wedding, right? The bride. So what I'm going to do is, the weekends that I don't have weddings, for maybe 2 weekends in a row I don't have weddings, I'm going to, gather 2 or 3 models, a makeup artist or 2, some hairdressers and hairstylists, and maybe even a fashion designer, and we're going to do a creative shoot. I did this once. If you take a look at the pictures that I'm about to show you, this was a photo shoot that we did. I gathered a bunch of models. I think I contacted 8 models. I ended up having 6 or 7 come through that day. And I got 2 makeup artists and a hairstylist, and we basically I went to a wedding outfit place, and I told them I was doing a creative photo shoot, and if they had 3 or 4 dresses they can lend me. The lady was so excited when I told her that I would give her pictures to hang up, big pictures, that I would blow them up for her. She lent me, I think it was 4 or 5 outfits, and told me, don't worry about cleaning them, just bring them, just don't damage them, bring them back, I'll take care of cleaning them. And that was a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. The lady was so pleasant. We took extra care of these outfits. We shot them, outside, inside, all kinds of cool pictures. And then we just gave them back the way she gave them to us, and a little dirty, of course, and she took care of that. And then I gave her the pictures on disc. She looked at them, and I told her to pick whatever she wanted. I would enlarge it. I think she ended up doing that herself. She ended up picking them out and enlarging them over time because she was busy and didn't have the time to do it when I contacted her. But the point is, you can do so much, with just contacting a few people and getting creative, right? Models love to shoot. It's called TFP, Time for Print, where you don't pay them, they don't pay you. You're doing it for the pictures. Makeup artist is doing it for the pictures. Hairstylist is doing it for the pictures. If you have a fashion coordinator, they're doing it for the pictures. Everybody's doing it for the pictures. Time for print. So if you're looking for somebody and you don't want to pay them, or you can't pay them, TFP. Now keep in mind, I did provide breakfast when everybody arrived in the morning. There was orange juice and fruit and bagels and donuts. Everybody had, I had music going the whole day, keep it exciting. Everybody was in a great mood. Everybody became really friendly. We just became such a cool group, right? And then at lunch, the gentleman, stuntman here in Atlanta, that lent us the warehouse to do this, he was a wonderful, wonderful host. And he and I went and I got lunch for everybody. That's what you got to do, right? If you're not going to pay, the makeup and the hair people and the stylist and the lady with the dresses and the owner of the warehouse and all the models, it's a lot of money. I mean, you could easily spend a couple of $1,000s. At least provide, entertainment and food, meals for everybody. The other thing I did was I kept it like clockwork. I told the first model to arrive at 8. By 8:15, she was sitting in the hair chair, And then an hour later, she moved over to the makeup artist. At 9, the other model came and she moved into the hair, and an hour later she moved into makeup, and it just kept moving like clockwork. And you know, an hour later, the first model came to me and I shot her for an hour. And then the next hour, another model came to me and I shot her for an hour. And then the next hour, and you know, so on and so forth, right? Make sure that at one point everybody stops, right? And you take a break for an hour. That's when we went. I got the food. We came back. We ate. We socialized. Everybody became so friendly. We kept in touch with each other for a long time. So it's a great experience. That's a way to do something you love, like weddings. Do a creative photo shoot. That was a gothic bridal shoot, and we just had so much fun with it. You could do a lingerie bridal shoot. You can do a boudoir. I mean, there is so many things you could do and still stay within wedding. If wedding's not your cup of tea, if it's portraits, then do all kinds of, you know, again, gothic portraits. You can do, you know, cosplay. You can do all kinds of really cool stuff and still keep it within portraits with the lighting and the backdrops. If your thing is landscape photography, then if you want to throw some people into that, get creative. Hire or, you know, contact a few models and get out into the wild with them and do some cool stuff. And we talked about doing things part-time, right? So if you just happen to like weddings, but you also enjoy nature, then on those weekends that you're not too busy, get out and do the things you love doing that you're not getting paid for. And you know what? Who says you can't get paid for them? You can either create 2 websites, one for your wedding channel and one for your, you know, nature photography, where you sell landscapes and flowers and stuff, or just keep it all in one website, break it down into 2 directions. People want to look at, you know, weddings and book you for weddings, or people want to go into flowers and purchase your, you know, your landscapes and your nature photography. Not hard to do. The point here with everything we're talking about is not to let your passion become a chore, become, you know, complete boredom for you. Switch it up, experiment, add some creative shoots. And if you're getting burned out with an excess of work, maybe it's time to hire somebody. We don't always think about that. It kind of, you know, gets to the point where we're struggling to, you know, to find time in the day to do our job. And then we wake up one day and say, oh, why don't I hire somebody to help me? And, you know, in the meantime, like 4 or 5 months have gone by and we're not even sleeping and we're stressed out and burning out. Try to catch that early, right? If you're already making a good amount of money with, say, weddings, right? You're charging, the average in the country, I think, is $3,500 for a wedding. If you're doing that and you're booked for 40 weddings a year, you know, and that's the money you need right now, and that gives you enough money to hire maybe an assistant to help you part-time, either at the weddings or, you know, post, you know, wedding, which is like setting up your albums on the computer, and maybe you want to get somebody creative to help you with that. Anything is helpful, right? And if you get a student from the local college, you don't have to pay them much. They can do it for credit. You work with the college, and you kind of do it for where the college gives them credit. Sometimes you don't have to pay them at all. I would still give them something, you know, as a form of appreciation, and that kind of, you know, has them in the mode where they want to keep coming back to work with you, you know, because they're going to be working with maybe a couple of different photographers. And if you're giving them a little something, you know, in terms of cash or whatever, they're going to like you a little more, right? And they're going to be appreciative of that, and they're going to just look forward to working with you. So can I take pictures for money and still enjoy photography? Still enjoy what used to be a hobby? Absolutely. Don't let it, you know, wear you down. Keep it creative, keep it fun. If you're doing stuff like nature and flowers, take a little music if you like, whatever your music is, whether it's, you know, pop or classical, whatever it is. Take some music with you. You know, we don't often think about that. If you like enjoying, I prefer when I'm out there, I prefer the silence and listening to the birds chirp and all that stuff, right? So whatever makes you happy, but think about it. You know, don't just get out there randomly and go, you know, would have been nice if I bought my music. Plan it all. That way your experience is totally positive, and it'll help take away from that, you know, stress of your photography job, right? This video was pretty straightforward. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please, down here on your left, like with a little thumbs up, and down here on your right, subscribe please, and hit the little notification bell, which will keep you notified every time a new video comes out. I will see you guys in the next video. We didn't do a water break today. I don't even have my water here today. I'm very disappointed. I actually left it downstairs. Please take care of yourselves from the heart. I love you all. Ciao for now.